Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the garden and to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at our dahlias and whether or not we should pinch them. Now most people do agree that pinching dahlias is an excellent way to kind of give us number one, more flowers during the season, but also a stronger and bushier plant that can support itself better. And if you're anything like me and you're a total dahlia novice, you're kind of just trying to get a good firm grasp of what to do, how to do it, and when. I started my dahlias in trays way back in March. A lot of these dahlia plants were pinched naturally by me because I was taking cuttings to propagate more plants. As you can see in this video, all of those plants that were pinched very early in the season to take cuttings now have several stems, and they're quite a bit bigger and bushier and overall look a lot healthier than some of my other dahlias. Now, of course, we can't say this is, an absolute certainty because there are so many different dahlia varieties and each of them has their own unique growth habit. So that is something to take into consideration. But in general, all of these dahlias that I took cuttings from have multiple branches. They just look so lush. Ideally, I think most people suggest that you want to pinch them, or I think it's also called stop them, at about 12 inches tall. That's what I'm going to do here today. I finally got all of these dahlia plants transplanted into their final location. They're a little bit larger than I had anticipated at this point. But you can see that all of these plants have at least 4 sets of leaves on the main center stalk. Some of them are even starting to try to flower a little bit. I am going to remove those flowers because, at this point, at this stage in growth, it's early in the season. We're not ready for flowers yet. The plants are not big enough. So I really want to focus on the foliage right now so that we will get rewarded with lots and lots of flowers later in the season. So what I'm going to do to begin pinching these dahlias is I am going to just locate the center sprout of the plant. As you can see in most of these dahlias, it's just one stem shooting straight up. Now all we're going to do is just remove the growth tip at the very center, just the small little growth point. I know a lot of people just use their fingers. I personally like to use my pair of garden snips simply because in snipping these off, I can wipe my snips off and clean them in between each plant very easily, much easier, just in case there is any presence of dahlia viruses in my garden. I do not want to transfer that from one plant to another plant. Ideally, we want to keep these dahlia plants as healthy as possible, so it is kind of good to try your best to maintain those kind of sanitary garden habits in terms of dahlia viruses so that in the long run we don't end up losing a lot of our plant stock. Now that we've just snipped out that little bud in the center, now the fun happens. In a few weeks we'll be able to see a lot of new growth. Those plants will start branching out, and before we know it, we'll have a lot more stems on our dahlia plants when it comes time to bloom. Now, just because we are pinching and we are helping the plant to form lateral buds, that's not an excuse for us not to stake them or trellis them. We will still need to trellis these plants as they continue to grow, but for now, we're just going to wait patiently and hope for the best. As you can imagine, I am so excited to see how this dahlia patch is going to do this year. I hope that when it's in bloom, it will be absolutely spectacular, and I hope to make sure to keep you guys up to date with what's going on. So that's really about it for this video. I hope that it was helpful. If you're new here and you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Be sure to hit the little bell icon so you get notifications, all that stuff. It sounds silly, but it really does help kind of grow our little gardening community here. As always, feel free to leave a comment. Always love to hear from you guys, feedback. Have you grown this before? I always do try to answer those comments within about a week. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer just because I do get so busy with work, but I do really, really appreciate everyone who watches these videos so much. Be sure to share it with a friend. Just spread the word, I guess. If you'd like to support the channel, you can go ahead and check our links down in the description below. I am on Patreon. I always appreciate when people use Patreon. It really does help significantly, especially you know, in terms of editing and running the blog and whatnot. We do have blog posts for almost every video that you see here. There are probably more detailed blog posts and information on my website, which you can find down there. Also, we have a soap shop and wax melt shop. I hope that you are having such an incredible day, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.